Hello, I'm Edgar Parnell. I'm posting a series of videos that deal with some of the critical issues for co-ops and all other types of self-help enterprises. That's SHEs for short. In this session, I explain how SHEs help make markets work for the benefit of ordinary people. They provide the mechanism to challenge injustices within a market. These member-owned enterprises intervene in the market in the best interest of their members. This can be in their capacity as consumers, producers, workers, or as members of a specific community. What is meant by the market? Put simply, the market is any situation where buyers and sellers conduct trade and where goods and services change hands for money or some other means of exchange. Markets enable trade, the distribution and allocation of resources in society, and allow any tradable commodity, including information and rights, to be valued and priced. Markets may be formed deliberately or can emerge spontaneously to enable the exchange of any rights of ownership. We are all buyers of goods and services, but at the same time, we are also sellers in a variety of different markets. Individual consumers and communities purchase the goods and services that they need, making use of a range of markets. Likewise, we sell our labour, knowledge and skills, and the things we produce, grow or supply in a variety of markets. Many of the obstacles that prevent us from living more fulfilling lives are caused by our not being able to exercise enough power in the markets that we rely upon for our economic and social well-being. The fundamental forces within markets are supply and demand. The two main groups of players in any market are buyers and sellers. Markets vary in size, range, type, and location, as well as in the kind of goods and services traded. And since the advent of cyber markets, they don't even need to have a specific geographic location. When a market is not free, fair, and open, and whenever people have no option but to take the deal offered by those currently exercising unequal power in a market, others using the market are exploited. When markets do not work as they should, those dominating a market make super profits at the expense of all other participants in that market. When faced with unfair market conditions, sometimes we can secure the changes we want by our own efforts, but when powerful forces are ranged against us within a market, we need to work together with others similarly disadvantaged within the same market. Usually, the most effective response is join an existing self-help enterprise, or where none exist, to set up a new one. When groups of people come together with a common purpose, having the objective of improving their position within a market, they can change their lives for the better. The primary aim of their joint action is to get a better deal for their members. The alternative to taking mutual action usually is to remain at the mercy of those who dominate, manipulate, or fail to participate honestly in specific markets. People lack power in a market for a variety of reasons. though most often it's because they do not control enough resources to compete effectively. For example, when they don't have sufficient finance to run the production or processing facilities needed to add value to commodities such as food crops and livestock. In other cases, they are exploited by cartels, criminals, cheats, or dominant participants who distort or control a market. In some cases, sellers may dominate markets, while in others, buyers exercise disproportionate power. In many cases, there are those who are disadvantaged in a market because they don't have a proper understanding of its workings, and they don't have the knowledge, that is to say, market intelligence, or the skills necessary to compete effectively with the other participants. This is a common situation in the case of individuals and small-scale players in a market. However, when the smaller players in the market take mutual action, they not only increase their direct power, but by enabling members to make better informed decisions, they empower their members both as individuals and as a joint enterprise. Member leaders and the managers that they employ must be equipped to carry out their duties in their enterprise. This means that they need to have a clear understanding of the workings of those markets in which their enterprise is involved. They also need to take responsibility for helping their members to properly understand these markets. Prior to taking up any decision-making role within SHEs, all would-be leaders ought to be able to demonstrate that they have the necessary market awareness. It's essential to separate real markets for goods and services from the speculative markets used by those seeking to speculate upon price movements within a market. The fact that enormous amounts of money can be made from speculation often completely distorts the tangible markets for goods and services. Frequently, speculative investors are not looking for returns from investments in the real economy by means of investing in efficient and viable enterprises. Instead, they are chasing super profits generated by speculating upon the movement of shares and commodity prices. The clash between real and speculative markets is one of the greatest challenges to democracy and is one of the root causes of the current levels of inequality between the rich and the poor. Democratic governments worldwide must confront this issue before any progress towards achieving a fairer society can take place. Transactions designed to cover risk, such as the authentic trading in the futures of real commodities, can be entirely legitimate and have a place in the operation of real markets. However, any form of speculation purely for profit needs to be ruled out within SHEs. Problems arise for consumers when businesses seek to exploit their customers or to achieve super profits by dominating a market, distorting competition, and preventing market access to would-be competitors. Even in long-standing democracies, where laws are implemented that exert some control over corruption, Many of the largest and most scrutinized companies still try to cheat consumers and other stakeholders. They do this by colluding with other businesses to manipulate markets, by taking secret commissions, that is to say bribes, and by mis-selling and other dubious marketing practices. In the poorer countries of the world, embezzlement, monopolistic behavior, and other forms of cheating are often endemic. Dictatorial rulers dole out entire industries to their friends, who then find ways of diverting money into their own pockets via offshore bank accounts. Undermining competition doesn't always mean a crime has been committed. Often it's work of government that franchises a legal monopoly, thereby sanctioning protectionism by allowing only one or two companies to participate in a market. While some denounce the market as a source of inequality, others insist that only a completely free market can offer prosperity. Both conflicting points of view arise from several popular misconceptions about the market. Those who advocate a completely unregulated market are often the very same people who have little or no interest in running an open and fair market, and who seek the right to secure a position in the market that will allow them to take excessive profits. Attempts to replace markets with bureaucratic arrangements have failed the world over. In many countries, the state attempts to regulate a market by undertaking just enough oversight to ensure that no player can outrageously exploit its dominant position. However, in most states, competition laws and regulatory bodies do little to ensure that new entrants can enter markets that are not working as they should. Often, this is simply because enormous amounts of finance are required by any enterprise that seeks to challenge the dominance of large national and international companies. The ability to trade goods and services within open and fair markets is, in fact, fundamental to the proper operation of a democratic state. Whenever the market is not working properly, this can bring untold suffering to masses of people and usually disproportionately impacts the most vulnerable sections of society. If markets are to be made to work so they operate for the benefit of ordinary citizens, then governments need to provide SHEs with fully effective and supportive laws, as well as a positive public policy environment. Well-run, truly effective SHEs can, in so many different situations, eliminate the problems caused by malfunctioning markets, usually being more effective over the longer term and without incurring the high cost to consumers and taxpayers when yet more layers of market regulation are added. The intervention of SHEs being preferable to taking on the high risk of the unintended consequences that accompany most schemes involving direct state intervention. In the next video in this series, I examine how SHEs can develop their market intervention strategy and why they often need to become market disruptors. To find out more, about all of these topics, visit my website Co-oppundit.org and find out how to get the book Enterprises That Change Lives. You can download a copy of this important book from as little as £2.99 or US dollars $3.99, or get a paperback version mailed to you in many different countries of the world. Thanks for watching. I hope you will join me for another video session soon.